Tim, this is Dallas. How do you hear me from the Cheltenham Science Festival?
Hello to Dallas and hello to everybody at the Cheltenham Science Festival. It's great to be talking to you this afternoon. I hear you loud and clear.
Way, nice round of applause. Oh, no. Tim, we just lost you momentarily, but you're back now. Thank you so much from the Times Cheltenham Science Festival. We are here in the Space Dome, and we're very, very excited to be talking to you now. We've got a big group of kids from the Cirencester Kings Hill School and some journalists. How are you? How are you feeling? Are you looking forward to coming home, first of all?
Yes, I'm doing great, thanks. It's been a fantastic 6 months up here, really remarkable, incredible experience. And yes, of course, I'm looking forward to coming home, looking forward to seeing my friends and my family, but I am going to miss this place.
That's fantastic. I'm going to start off with the Cirencester Kings Hill School. I want to introduce you to Hannah Slack, who's in Year 10, and she's got a fantastic question for you to get the ball rolling, and then we'll talk to the press after that. So I'm going to hand you to Hannah now, Tim.
Hi, my question is, do you think it will be hard to adapt to life back on Earth after being in space for so long?
Hi, Hannah. That's a good question to ask and one that I've been paying particular attention to recently. But yes, it is going to be quite tricky to adapt. It's probably going to take me at least 2 or 3 days before I feel well, and it'll take me several months before my body fully recovers in terms of bone density. And also it'll be interesting to see if there's been any lasting changes, for example, to eyesight, etc. But generally speaking, after about 2 or 3 days, I should be fairly comfortable back on Earth.
Thank you very much. Tim, I'm going to hand you over to some journalists now. I know we've got a very, very short amount of time, so I'm not going to witter on. I'm going to hand over to the journalists now. We're going to go round the room. So here's question number 1 for you.
Tim, it's Thomas Moore from Sky News. Hello. Now, tell me, I'm sure you're very well prepared for the physical rigors of re-entry, but what about the psychological, the emotional impact of coming home back to Earth and seeing friends and family and other human beings for the first time in 6 months?
Yes, it's a good question to ask. I think I'm ready for it, and we have, good contact up here in the space station, of course, on a daily basis with mission control all over the world, and our families too, who I'm able to call. So that has helped, that keeping in connection with planet Earth and with everybody back on Earth. But I'm certainly looking forward to coming back and seeing friends and family again, and I don't think it will be too hard to adjust to that.
Hi, Tim. This is Tom Whipple from The Times. My question is, the fact that you're in space at all represents a big change in UK space policy. Until you came along, we decided that it wasn't worthwhile scientifically, but that changed. So my question is, as you reach the end of your trip, have you been worthwhile?
It's a very important question to ask, and it's certainly one that I'm sure people will be paying a lot of attention to and researching into. From my personal perspective, of course, I think this has been an exceptionally worthwhile endeavour, and it's not just about this one mission. This is about the UK becoming involved in human spaceflight, hopefully for the foreseeable future, not just for our science community, not just for our industry, but also for the kids and for education and outreach, and to try and to inspire people to look at science and look at space in a different way. Space is going to play an ever increasingly important role in our lives, and if the UK is not in the forefront of that, then we're missing out, quite simply. So I certainly think this mission has been worthwhile.
Hi Tim, it's Phil Mackey from BBC Radio 5 Live. We've been asking 5 Live listeners today whether or not they had questions for you. We had lots of interesting ones, lots of which you probably wouldn't want to have heard. Here's one from 5 Live listener Adam in Leon C, and he asks, what have you learned about Earth in the time that you've been off it?
Well, I've learned so much about Earth just in terms of being able to see it changing over 6 months, and really most of it is about how beautiful the planet is, how thin and fragile the atmosphere is, how remarkable the weather systems are that globally affect the planet. The auroras, certainly during the winter, the aurora was absolutely magnificent. And even now going into summer, we have little surprises like noctilucent clouds coming up in June. So honestly, every time I go to the cupola window and look outside, I can normally find something new that I haven't seen before. And that has been what's been most remarkable about the planet.
Hi, Tim. Ken Goodwin from ITV West Country. We've got lots of young people here. What do you think has been the result of your trip on the young people that you've engaged with on social media and that you've managed to talk to and answer questions for?
Well, you know, part of this mission before I launched was to try and engage with as many people as possible and to try and share the experience as much as possible. It's already been mentioned that it's been, you know, a long time since the UK actually enjoyed having a British astronaut, Helen Sharman, 25 years ago. And so these opportunities don't come around very often, and it's important that we make the most of them. And part of that is to reach out to our young generation and try and let them share the mission, to try and get them excited about science and excited about space. And I've had such a brilliant support team on the ground who've run the educational outreach program, and we've had so many competitions in a vast array of different spheres, from things like rocket seeds to space dinners to the AstroPi computer, fit and healthy exercise like Mission X and Space to Earth. The list just goes on, and I think we've reached over 1 million children across the UK, which is truly remarkable. And so I hope that certainly will help to have an impact in inspiring our future scientists and engineers.
Tim, this is David Allard from BBC South Today. Our viewers have loved seeing the photos you've tweeted of the weather along the south coast, of the sunshine, of the storms. But what do you miss most about the weather on Earth?
You know, this is going to sound truly remarkable, but I most miss the rain. And I think perhaps that's because I haven't had a shower for 6 months. But the feeling of nice cold drizzle on my face right now actually sounds blissful, which most people in the UK would probably find quite remarkable.
This is Jo Darrant from BBC Radio Gloucestershire. What are you looking forward to most about coming back home?
Well, it stands with that reason that the thing I'm looking forward to most is seeing my family again. But apart from that, I think it's just enjoying planet Earth in terms of the outdoors. I love the outdoors. I'm cycling, hiking, climbing, camping at any opportunity I can get. And having lived now in this space station, which is an incredible place to live, it's truly, you know, groundbreaking up here of what we're doing. But having spent 6 months up here, I'm really looking forward to some fresh air and just getting outdoors and enjoying planet Earth.
Hi Tim, it's Charlotte Gay here from Heart Radio. Bit of a sports question. What do you reckon of England winning Euro 2016? And if not England, who do you think will win?
Well, I'm rooting for England, of course, for Euro 2016. So I'm gonna stick with that answer, and of course I look forward to watching it when I get back.
Hi Tim, it's Tim Cooper here from the British Forces Broadcasting Service, Forces TV. You've been in space. What are you planning to do now? Are you thinking of reinvigorating your reserve career with the British Army Reserves? And do you hope to inspire other soldiers, sailors and airmen to ditch their uniforms and don the spacesuit?
Well, no, of course, I'm a full-time employee of the European Space Agency, and that's exactly what I'll go back and do is to continue to represent the UK as a British astronaut within ESA. And there's an awful lot going on back at the European Space Agency at the moment. Just my class of shenanigans, the class of 2009, already Alex Gerst has been reassigned to a mission in 2019. He'll be back on the space station for the second time. The space station has a life out to 2024, maybe even a bit beyond that, and we're already very actively looking at future missions to the moon, a stepping stone onto Mars. And so there's an awful lot of work to be done back in the European Space Agency. And sorry, I missed the second part of your question there about forces.
Just keen to know, Tim, if you'd like to inspire other forces personnel to do what you've done.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that what we're doing is very important. We've got some very difficult and challenging missions coming up in the future, and the space sector needs as many talented professional people as it can. So it's certainly a route that I would encourage people to follow, from whether they come from a military background or any background whatsoever.
Hi, Tim. It's John Oldham here from Radio Winchcombe. Let me just ask you, Tim, you've had this exciting 6 months. You're now got to come down to the ground. Isn't life going to have a bit of deja vu?
No, I don't think so. There's going to be an awful lot to do, certainly over the next year, in terms of debriefing and, of course, the medical tests. So much of the experiments and the science that we've done up here is actually on my own body. So those experiments will continue for the next year. And as I've mentioned, we've got a very active program of human spaceflight within the European Space Agency. So the important thing is to try and use the information that I've gained during this 6-month mission in terms of improving how we do operations on board the space station, and looking forward to how we can improve future missions as well.
Tim, hi, it's Dallas again. I just had a quick question. I was there for your launch way back in December, and time has gone extremely quickly. I still have a bag of laundry which I haven't unpacked from Baikonur. And when I realized that you were coming back, I'm like, it can't be 6 months already. Has time flown for you too?
You know, yes, time is a funny thing, and it has gone very quickly. But then again, sometimes when I think back to, for example, when Tim Cooper and Scott Kelly did that first spacewalk, and that was only 6 days into the mission, that does seem like a long time ago. When I think I celebrated Christmas and New Year up here on board the space station, again, it feels like a long time. And I've just been fortunate, really, that we've had so many exciting and interesting events during this 6-month mission, and they've been nicely paced out. So throughout the mission, there's always been something really good to look forward to. And that's really life on board the space station. It's an incredibly exciting place to work.
Talking of Christmas, this is Dallas still here. I have a Christmas question for you from somebody from the school. If you just want to introduce yourself and say your question to Tim.
Hi, this is Maisie, and I'd like to know, what did you get for Christmas?
Hi, Maisie. Well, I think the greatest present I got for Christmas was finding out that I was going to do a spacewalk, and really, I don't think you can top that. But my next big present this year, of course, is going to be hopefully getting back safely a week on Saturday and seeing my family again.
Hi, my name is Roxy. What advice would you give to someone like me to become an astronomer?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that question. I understood it was something to do with becoming an astronomer.
Yes, this is Dallas here. The question was, any advice for somebody who would like to become an astronomer?
Well, do you know, I mean, you've obviously got an interest in astronomy, and the first thing is just to do what I'm sure you're doing and enjoying as a hobby, and looking up at the stars, trying to find great places to go and view the stars where there isn't too much light pollution, and just recording and documenting what you're doing, enjoying that. And if you're passionate about things, you'll tend to be very good at them. And that's certainly something that I enjoyed as a youngster as well, was a little bit of an astronomy and also aviation. They were two things I was very interested in, and so I would just encourage anybody who's interested in that to really continue what you're good at and be passionate about it.
Hello again, Tim. It's Phil Mackey again from Radio 5 Live. I just wondered what you've learned about yourself while you've been up there.
That's a good question. I haven't really reflected on that too much, and I don't really think that I have probably learnt an awful lot about myself that stands out. Maybe when I come back down and I'll reflect on this mission, I'll have time to think about everything that's gone on. I'll be able to kind of answer that a bit more fully. But we're honestly so busy up here, we just take every day as it comes. Obviously, we're working in quite a high-pressure environment, a stressful environment, but then that's something I was used to anyway in the military. Spent 16 years as a military pilot, and so I think after a career such as that, it's hard to learn new things about yourself.
Hi Tim, this is Tom Whipple from the Times again. What are your views on Brexit?
Well, my views on Brexit are personal views, and I don't feel the need to impart them on anybody else. But what I'd like to say, in terms of cooperation and partnership, of course, is just the fact that I'm here floating in the most incredible achievement of not just European cooperation, but international cooperation. And this space station would not exist if it wasn't for all of the international partners and what they have managed to achieve despite their political differences throughout the years. And hopefully that will continue into the future of space exploration as well.
Tim, it's Thomas Moore from Sky News again. Over the last 6 months, almost every minute has been accounted for by the space agencies. Every movement has been closely observed by cameras on board the ISS. How much are you looking forward to a bit of peace and quiet? It must have felt like you were living in the Big Brother house.
Yes, I think you've probably hit the nail on the head there, Thomas. I'm certainly looking forward to just having some nice time with my family, some private time, and some peace and quiet. Peace and quiet will probably still be quite hard to come by in the next couple of months. There's so much to do in the post-flight period, but it's certainly something I'm looking forward to.
Ken Goodwin from ITV West Country. Looking back over the last 6 months, what's been the defining moment when you looked out of the window and said, I've got the best job in the world?
There was one moment on the spacewalk when Tim Coper and myself were waiting to install an electrical component, and we had to wait for the sun to set because, of course, the sun striking the solar rays would have been dangerous for us to have changed out the electrical component. And Mission Control in Houston basically told us that we had about 10 minutes to hang out, take photographs, and wait for the sun to set. And that is unheard of on a spacewalk where normally every minute is accounted for. So that was truly incredible, just to be able to explore, that part of the space station and look down on planet Earth, and also look behind me and look out into the darkness and the vastness of space whilst outside the space station. I think that really is a moment I will cherish forever.
Hi, my name's John, and I'd like to know, how do you keep fit in space?
Hi, John. Yeah, it's really important to keep fit, and we have three main devices. One's a bike machine, one's a running machine, and one's a weightlifting machine that uses vacuum cylinders instead of weights. And between those three devices, we try and keep our cardiovascular system as healthy as possible, and we also try and reduce the bone density loss and the muscle mass loss. So we work out probably up to about 1.5 hours to 2 hours every day to try and stop the negative effects of living in microgravity.
Hi, my name's Maya. Could you liken being on ISS to anything else on Earth?
Hi, Maya. Well, the closest thing I think I can liken it to is scuba diving. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's a lovely sport. It's one I really enjoy doing. And I also had the privilege of going on a NEMO mission, which is one of NASA's exploration missions, and living underwater for 12 days. And that's as similar an experience as living on board the International Space Station that I can think of. Actually, when you're scuba diving in water, it feels similar to being in microgravity as well, which is why we use underwater swimming pools on Earth in order to train for spacewalking.
Tim, I think we're running out of time, sadly. We've got a few more seconds left. I just wanted to say a huge thank you from the Space Dome. I wish you could be here in the Space Dome because it's absolutely terrific. It's all blacked out and we've got these beautiful stars sparkling above us. It's about 100 degrees outside. We're all sweating and baking in here. But hopefully next year you might be able to come here in person. That would be lovely to actually to get you here and talk to you live. If you think you've been busy for the last 6 months, just wait till you get back to Earth, because I know there's a lot of people who want to talk to you. But on behalf of everyone here at the Times Cheltenham Science Festival, I just want to say a huge, huge thank you. And maybe a round of applause for Tim, please.
Thank you, Dallas, and thank you to everybody at the Cheltenham Science Festival. It's been a real pleasure talking to you this afternoon, and enjoy the rest of the festival. And yes, I certainly look forward to being there next year.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes the event.